and gentlemen, broadcasting live
Let's go, baby!
from Dallas, Texas.
No puppies. I need a dog to make a play.
Presented by the law firm of Vincent Carrizales.
It's time for football.
It's Paco's Locker Room Talk.
What a day, what a day, what a day.
Welcome back to Paco's Locker Room Talk. Paco, the good news is you didn't get canceled after episode 1, so congratulations.
Thank you.
You have yourself a series now.
Yes, finally.
It's Richie Witt
shows
alongside
Yeah.
Anthony Montoya and alongside a guy who looks a lot like one of my childhood heroes, but his hair kind of got gray.
Man,
What's up, Everson Walls?
it's hard to tell where my skin begins.
All right, right off the top.
I dream, just so you know, I dream with black hair. I dream myself
You
with
do?
black hair, yes.
I do too. That's how I remember you. I've probably written about you and known you forever. One of my favorite players as a kid, but I never knew where Cubby came from.
Well, then you never knew anything about me at all.
Enlighten
That's
me
the
and our
case.
millions of viewers today.
Everyone knows that stuff. No, actually, this first name I had, Everson, came later.
Is that right?
Yeah, I was named after both of my youngest uncles, and on each side of the family, and so that came later. Cubby, I came out with all this hair on my face, looking
On
like
your
Wolfman
face?
or somebody. Yeah, I don't know. I never saw the pictures, but they said I just came out. So I'm imagining Lon Chaney, you know,
Right,
what I mean?
yeah, the
Turning-
werewolf, yeah.
turning into Wolfman.
Wolfman.
But they just said I had hair on my face, and eventually, obviously, it fell off. But I said I looked like a bear cub.
Is that right?
So Cubby, that's where that came from. The nurses came up with that, and my mom.
So back family outings, best friends still call you Cubby?
Yeah, that's how you know. I mean, a lot of people try to get on that bandwagon, and
Yeah.
when they just want me to turn around, they
Yes.
they Googled it somewhere.
Yeah.
Hey, Cubby, and I'm like, oh, must be a friend. No, it is not. I have no idea who you are.
And then some people still call you Emerson. Like,
Oh yeah,
like
yeah,
we
yeah.
I
Like
think,
the appliance.
I
yeah.
think Tom Landry used to call you Emerson a little
Tom
bit.
called me a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's true. All right, it is Paco's Locker Room Talk, where we talk 90s Cowboys, we talk 70s, 80s Cowboys. We talk back in the day when the Cowboys used to win Super Bowls. And try to refresh the memories of these 24-year-olds who have never experienced something like that. So
And are
we
not
talked about-
Cowboy fans.
Yeah, they're not Cowboys fans
No.
because this is a bandwagon city. They haven't won in a while.
They're
so.
Patriots fans.
Yeah.
And all of that.
So the news of the day, of course, it's opening week in the NFL. Cowboys play the New York Giants on Sunday at AT&T Stadium. And the breaking news today was Zeke Elliott, of course, the running back who held out all training camp. He got his money today. He got a
Yay.
6-year, $90 million extension, which leads me to the question, Everson, what was the biggest contract you signed in the NFL? Do you remember?
Mine was that was
Hopefully it
after-
wasn't a horse trailer involved, like Walt Garrison.
No horse trailers. They didn't do me those kind of favors. If I wanted that, I would have definitely tried to get it.
Wait a minute, Paco. Garrison signed with a horse trailer?
He
in a
got,
horse
he got
trailer? What?
$5,000 bonus and a horse trailer.
For real?
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, he probably would have been happy with the 5 Gs, but the horse trailer was a bonus for
Yeah.
him. So that's the Cowboys doing him a favor.
Wow, that was his signing bonus.
Yeah,
trailer.
that just lets you know what the crap I was dealing with.
Times
trying to
have
negotiate
changed a
back in
little
the day.
bit, so
Yeah. No, I mine was after the '83 season. Doug Cosby,
Yes, tight end.
had
Yeah.
come up with. He was the first one to get an annuity, and that was the first time that the Cowboys had done an annuity contract.
Gotcha.
So I felt good about that, and I ended up getting an annuity contract in '83. And it took me a while to negotiate for it. It actually took another 2 years to negotiate that contract.
Right.
But that was the biggest one. So by '85, at that time I was 5 years in the league. That's when I got my biggest contract.
Gotcha.
And after that, you're not going to get much bigger unless you're a quarterback or something like that.
Yeah,
But
you'd
around
maxed
that
out.
time, that's about when you're maxed
Yeah.
out. Yeah.
Do you look at $90 million and just, I mean, you and the old guys must just roll your eyes and go, this is ridiculous what the numbers are throwing around.
Yeah, I mean, well, let's go back. I mean, the annuity contract that I had was a $3 million annuity.
$3 million, okay.
So back then, everybody like, whoa,
it's all relative.
yeah, it is all relative. So that 90 can go fast.
Yeah.
That 90 can go fast because
Wow.
everything now is just so much more blown up.
Yep.
You're just so much more involved in regards to money and the people that are around you. Bad investments sometimes, things that you just might have a passion for.
Sure.
And if, it might not work out, it might, you never know.
Yep.
I mean, everybody can't be 50 Cent. and invest in vitamin water and like vitamin water. Who would think to invest in that?
I didn't.
Yeah.
And now the next thing you know, he's power.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? You can't help but see him everywhere on Star TV and all of that. So, it just depends on how it goes. 90 mil can go real fast.
Power.
Never-
Is
never-
that TV series?
Yeah, yes, it's black
Have
people.
you seen it?
Yeah,
Oh, okay,
no,
Black
Jack
Channel.
says it's
That's
black.
on BET.
Yeah, Star's black.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have that channel. I may not watch it very often. but I have it, okay?
Okay.
Somebody-
We have to throw that in with the entire package. A lot of people don't realize it's there.
Oh my God! It's Paco's Locker Room Talk. Richie Witt and Anthony Montoya, known as Paco. So you and Walls go back a ways, right?
Yes,
So
we go away.
how did you guys meet? Obviously, you met through the Cowboys, but do you remember your first interaction and how you guys kind of hit it off?
I knew he
Or
was.
are y'all friends?
No, we're definitely friends.
Yeah, no doubt. We're
Definitely friends.
Yeah.
But I Michael Downs introduced.
Who? Yeah, is that Mike? You knew Mike first.
Yes,
Yeah,
and
you
then
know Mike first.
because Mike was the captain of the team, and of course you were there before Lockhart came along.
Yeah, no doubt.
And then when
no
Lockhart
doubt.
came along, he changed your name to Wilson.
We still don't know
And
why.
I would say he'd say Wilson, and I'd look around and say, "Shit, we got a player on the team."
Now, when you say team, are you talking hoopsters or are you talking
Oh
okay.
man,
You're talking about
Hey,
the hoopsters.
we
okay.
had probably the best basketball team, and we'll talk trash to any NFL team that wants to come around.
Yes.
But we used to whoop any team that we played. The only team that we really lost to and blew us out. You remember? You don't remember because he wasn't playing. He was just over there probably laughing at us.
Yeah.
The Texas A&M football team.
What?
We went down to the
College Station.
campus, College Station.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who the hell these kids were, man. White boys, brothers. They jacking up like they Splash Brothers. Man, it was crazy. This white dude shot from Curry Land over and over. And we prided ourselves in playing defense.
Of course.
And most of the people we played against, we were more athletic because we were football players.
Sure.
We all were pretty good basketball players. These guys we call you on that and we raise you.
Yeah.
Because we couldn't stop. They were football players too, so you
Right.
couldn't beat them up. We used to beat up the firemen and the police station,
Sure.
police officers, right? We just beat up
Yes.
the doctors and whoever wanted to play us. We just buffalo.
Teachers, staff.
Yeah, it didn't matter.
you know.
Yeah, we took no mercy.
No wonder you were undefeated, except for
Yeah, we beat up everybody.
schedule the Washington
we beat up
Generals and
everybody,
the
yeah.
Sisters
We were
of
like the
Four.
Globetrotters, but no fun. We came in to.
Right now,
we
why
came
did you
in to hurt
play?
people.
Why did you do that? It wasn't for the money. It was
It
just
was
for the fun.
Well, for some guys, it was a nice little, income
bonus?
because we got we were paid for our time.
Gotcha.
But otherwise, no, staying in shape, really.
Isn't that crazy?
We were in super crazy shape.
Yeah.
And the charities, man, first of all, there was the charities that we were helping out.
That's true,
Because
yeah.
we raised money for the fire department, raised money for the police department.
Right.
And, we go in there really kind of like the Globetrotters, just
Absolutely.
having fun.
Yeah. Well, I saw you guys when you came to Duncanville one time I watched
It was
it.
just fun.
Yeah, it's great.
But if you wanted to get physical, then hey, we would gladly do that because that was fun for us.
Sure.
So that's how
Just
that
can
worked.
you imagine though in today's NFL, like first of all, you guys actually had an off season where you're away from the training facility,
Right.
unsupervised for
No
a
doubt.
couple months at a time, probably.
You could ride a motorcycle, nobody cared.
Yeah, and now I mean, you
Yeah.
had as soon as the Super Bowl's over, it's like you have voluntary workouts and you have
Yes,
mandatory.
yes.
I mean, there would be no time for hoopsters.
No doubt.
No doubt.
And your off seasons are very limited in what you can do because there's a liability there
Absolutely.
that you have to be aware of now. Who was that? Some guy was
Suggs for the
yeah,
Ravens.
yeah.
Terrell Suggs,
Yeah.
And then not to mention that they they saw Mahomes playing basketball.
Yep.
He's dealing on some guys.
Yeah.
Going to the hoop. And that went viral. Kansas City shut that down.
Because
Yeah.
of the $90 million contracts.
Yeah,
That's those
yeah.
$3 million annuities
Back
anymore.
in
We
the
gotta
day,
watch this
back in the
stuff.
day, everybody used to put footballs in the basket.
Okay.
We signed all the footballs, autographed footballs. Everybody had to sign them. Danny White, Tony Dorsett, Drew Pearson.
Okay.
It didn't matter. You signed that, because these are the charities. I don't know what they
course.
were doing with it. And nowadays, if you can't get Dak Prescott or Zeke Elliott's name on the same ball with what's the running back, the new Pollard.
Pollard.
You're
Tony
not
Pollard.
that's not gonna mix. They say we'll give you a care package.
And you can pay for an upgraded ball with the top level guy. That's
But
a
it's
shame though.
You're
right?
not going to share. There's no inclusion
Right.
as far as marketing anymore
Right.
because now I got my own people. You know,
Yeah.
back in the day, Emmitt Smith had his own people.
Oh, yeah.
Troy Aikman had his own people. Michael Irvin had his own people. No, I'm not signing that.
That's
What you doing
exactly
with that?
right.
So
Yeah.
the likeness
But
is
for
much more
for kids, it kind of ruined it.
It does.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's cheapened it. Or
No, it takes away the innocence.
It's Yeah, there you
Yeah,
go.
it takes away
It's
the
not
innocence.
just hey, sign this because you might not go. I'm not signing that kid. They're my teammates' names on it. And for a
Right.
kid, that's like I thought we
Who
were all
cares?
Cowboys.
Right.
What's happening here?
Right. Well, I tell you, I don't want to keep going on, but yeah, one player I'm not going to mention it. He has a seal. I mean, he doesn't sign, and it's documented. He documents every signature.
Come
so if you
on.
see him eating in the restaurant, hey, can you say, no, kid, I can't. That's just it. I can't.
That's just. I mean, I know there's monetizing your fame and your talent and your own business, but that just feels wrong.
It's just the way it is now,
It
bro.
is the way it is. It is Paco's Locker Room Talk. Richie Witt, Anthony Montoya. And before I introduce you again, care to talk about your hat?
Well, you know,
That
the
ugly
funny
hat.
thing is, I was at
gonna
the
say
mall.
that,
I was at the mall, and I said, I wonder if I should wear my. You know, I got a lot of caps at home.
Yeah.
You're at the
No,
mall. Were you at
you always-
Redbird
you
Mall
always
back in
were.
No, no.
1977? Is what it looks like.
Everywhere he went, he worked out.
But and I saw the caps, and I saw this cap up there, and I said, oh, look at that old school cap. And I said, is that a discount for the old school? And he says, no, they just came out with them. I said, no, that's back from Troy Aikman,
Yeah.
Logo Athletic.
Yeah.
He says, man, they just brought it back, man. It's like $40.
Yours is brand new.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I tell you,
That's the newest old hat I've ever
It
seen.
still got the creases in it. Yeah.
So
I'm
Troy
telling you.
Aikman, when he signed, he was like the first big guy that Logo Athletics signed
Yes.
for their sponsor.
Yes.
Got all the
And I would
back
hang out with him at some events, and of course, when you're the guy, they would give him just tons of
Yes.
bag.
Yes.
He would go, take this and do something with it. He goes, I don't want to wear those ugly ass hats, but he couldn't say it, so I would like give them to charity and Christmas presents. Like, but it looked just like that. I don't.
Same
Is Logo
cap.
Athletics still a company?
No, I don't think they're in
No.
business. I think
No.
it's
I don't think
New
so.
Air is
Yeah.
taking over all the cap
Yeah, no.
business.
So that's like an antique you're wearing on your head.
Oh, yeah. I've
That
got
is definitely a classic.
Oh, I've got-
It's in the classic category.
I've got
Vintage cap.
that T-shirt I wore the other day for the training camp stories
Yes.
they had. That's like the third time I've wore it.
Is that
and,
right?
And that's from the 90s. That's the third, but it's been sitting. I've got stuff just boxed up, or I've never even worn.
No,
it.
you got that right out of your closet. That's
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. But I
no,
never
no.
wore it.
No, be for real. All your stuff is old. That's all.
No, not my clothes. Dog.
His
Yeah,
whole
your
closet's
clothes.
vintage.
No, not my clothes. Dog. No.
All right, when we come back, let's talk about Everson Walls. Everybody loved him with the Cowboys. Led the NFL in interceptions. He's a local
Not
boy.
everybody.
And then he decided to leave and go to New York. We'll talk about the details of that coming up next on Paco's Locker Room Talk.
Here we are, Vincent Carrizales. Do not walk into a criminal courthouse alone if you've been charged with a criminal case. You deserve the best when so much is on the line. The Walls, I need you to listen up on this. For your legal representation, call Vincent Carrizales, attorney at law, 214-942-4500. Let his experience work for you. Jail release available. This is the part right here. Jail release available, Cubby, 24/7. You can't beat that, man. I mean, I'm telling you, if I had his number back in the day,
Yeah.
like when Eugene got in his car and we got in at 3:00 in the morning, we said, Eugene, it's time to go to bed. Oh no, I got a brand new Mercedes and I got this stereo system. And me and Michael Down said, Eugene, go to bed. He says, oh no, y'all go to bed, man. Y'all are PUSSY. Oh, okay, all right. Next morning, that's back when we had the newspaper. Eugene Lockhart wrecked out on Greenville Avenue.
Wow, really?
Yes.
You never told me that story.
Yeah, true story.
Breaking
and
news
we should
on
have called
Paco.
Vincent Carrizales.
Where was
VC
Vincent?
would have gotten
Where
out.
was VC back then?
That's what I'm
BC
saying.
was probably like, what, 20 years old back then?
True, but still we could have got him out.
Right,
why you
right. Still
calling
could have
me?
gotten him out. That would have been his first case.
All right, we'll keep VC on these days, put him on your speed dial.
There you go, speed
You never
dial.
know.
Before Facebook finds out.
All right,
Yes.
Everson, let's talk about this. So, talk about how the process of you went to Grambling, an undrafted free agent. How did the Cowboys know about you? How did you try out for the Cowboys? How did that relationship start?
I was, as far as the NFL teams were concerned, I was on the radar. I led the nation in interceptions. And Grambling was still a fraction of itself. After Doug Williams left, nobody was really thinking about Grambling. It was like, he was like a phenomenon.
Yeah.
So they didn't think any more was coming around. Plus, they get tired of coming to these poor black schools anyway. They don't like the restaurant food. But no, the scouts came down, and they came with free agent contract. If I'm not mistaken, it was the late Jethro Pugh.
Was it really?
I believe
Jethro
it was
Pugh.
the late Jethro Pugh.
I didn't
that
know he
came
was an
down.
ambassador of that.
Well,
time.
if I'm not mistaken, Gil would, they would work for Gil.
Sure, absolutely.
They
Gil
would work
Brandt,
for
yeah.
Gil, so they would go around, I'm sure, to certain schools. He probably would have had whether it's small schools or HB at that time, just black colleges.
Yes.
On his list, and he probably went around, and fulfilled those contracts. So I was one of those guys.
So did you expect to be drafted? I mean, I think the NFL draft was probably 12 rounds at least back then.
It was 12 rounds, and I had a feeling I wouldn't be because the previous year, that's why I talk about Doug Williams. When Doug left, all of a sudden, the 2 years prior, the 3 ensuing years, we got no one drafted from Grambling.
Gotcha.
And we had All-Americans. Our 2 linebackers, one of them came to Dallas on a free agent contract. His name was Guy Prather.
Yeah.
Linebacker. He made 16 tackles against the Green Bay Packers last preseason game. Cowboys cut him, and guess who picked him up? Green Bay Packers.
Mm-hmm.
So he had his little cup of coffee, but really was an All-American. Aldrich Allen, we called him Zach, our middle linebacker, just prototypical. These were guys that came on the heels of Robert Pennywell, who was part of the Grits Blitz with the Atlanta Falcons.
Yeah, okay.
So the HBCUs, we were losing our status.
Now, sorry to interrupt. How do you explain that? Because that, to me, that stinks of racial overtones. I mean, you have Doug Williams, then everything's great, and it's like we check that box. The media, we check that box. Now we can go and never come back. But you've got All-Americans not even getting media attention and or drafted.
Well, we didn't get the media attention, so we don't make the major All-American polls.
Yeah.
I mean, I made a 1AA All-American.
Yes.
I was Black College All-American, but as far as I'm concerned, I was better than anybody in the country. And now the reason for the lack of interest in HBCUs was simply because of integration.
Yeah.
Something that we fought for as African Americans. So now we can't afford to keep pace with Alabama and Auburn because let's face it, the facilities are better, number one, and number two, that alumni is going to kick down cash. We don't have alumni kicking down a whole bunch of cash, and plus HBCUs for the most part believe in doing it right. Mm-hmm. They're based on church. They're based on Bibles. They're based on religious institutions that started colleges. So we didn't even have co-ed dorms. You got to sneak your girl into the dorm, dude. You know what I'm saying? I hear about, we're down the street from Louisiana Tech, and they're like, girls and boys in the same dorm. Like, whoa, what's happening here? I don't.
Y'all's morals were so high that you had to sneak your girls in the room.
Had to sneak them in. That's right. That's right. We weren't just going to parade around in front of girls.
So Jethro Pugh brought you a contract. So the Cowboys are
free
interested?
agent contract.
And
The draft wasn't even over.
I'm assuming you grew up as a Cowboys fan.
Of course.
Okay, going to Berkner
Of
and all.
course, yeah. But
Okay.
you know where the old practice field used to
Oh
be.
yeah, right in your backyard.
Yeah, you were right there.
Yeah.
Man, I was up there all the time.
Okay, so best day of your life. Jethro Pugh shows up. Was there any other offers?
Oh,
or
I was
that-
pissed by then.
You were pissed.
Yeah, because by that time, the whole first day was done. They used to do 2 days.
Yeah.
6 rounds, one. I'm sorry about that. 6 rounds once, and the 6 rounds the next day. So I ended up. He came on the second day.
Yeah.
And by that time, I was already pretty upset anyway, because you see the guys, the DBs that they were picking, and I just thought that was like,
It's an insult.
insult. I mean, an insult, because I knew I was good. I didn't care who I played against. They had some guys who were being touted for the pros that went to HBCUs, and we played against them.
Yep.
And I killed them. We killed them. My entire team. We were Black College national champions.
Right.
So we had a few guys that should have gotten a look at. My strong safety also came to the Cowboys as a free agent. His name was Robert Salter.
Okay.
He had 8 interceptions 2 years in a row. And he was one of those guys, man, he was built like he was already 25 years old.
Is that right?
So he was a physical specimen. He was smart, and he was a playmaker. He was so disappointed when he came to Dallas, and he saw all of these DBs and free agents. He just became disheartened. He shut down.
What do you mean disappointed? Intimidated?
He believed.
Or what?
No. He was never intimidated. His spirit was broken. I think he truly believed what the Cowboys were telling him.
Oh, I got you.
You know, they sell you.
Yeah.
You know, I knew the game. I know the Cowboys. I was born and raised in Dallas. I know how they did their players.
Yeah.
I was ready for all of that. He was from New Orleans.
Gotcha.
He had no idea what the professional deal was all about. I followed the Cowboys. I knew. I you know how it is.
Yep,
If you
absolutely.
came to the Cowboys, you wouldn't be expecting them to treat you, you know, like some, you know, all-star. You know you're going to get the treatment that Tom Landry and the Cowboys give you.
Yeah.
And you still say, I still want to be here. So
Yeah.
you have to be ready for that. He was not.
Gotta be
and
ready
when he
for it.
realized that they weren't honest with him because they gave him this free agent contract, hey, man, you know, we really, boy, we love the way you play. We really want you to come in there and boy, we think you got a chance. Hell, he told everybody that.
Yeah.
You know, it's 25 other guys that they told that.
I got
For
you.
2 spots. Yeah.
For 2
or one-
spots.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he wouldn't even participate in the drills.
He
He
just
would
said, "Forget
stand
it."
back in his uniform and say, go ahead.
And full of talent.
Full of talent,
Yeah.
man. To this day, full of talent.
But you took the chip on your shoulder, came to Dallas.
Yeah, I'm too
and-
stubborn for that.
Yeah,
I'm
too stubborn for that.
to do it.
So Paco, do you remember what was the because you were already around integrated in the locker room by then, and Everson Walls comes in, undrafted free agent, probably a little bit cocky with a chip on his shoulder. Do you remember the reception he got?
Well, if something needed to be led on the team from the black side, that was their man.
It wasn't
mean,
just the black side.
No,
man.
no, wait a minute.
know there was
Well,
That's
black
what I knew more about.
Well, okay. Well, let me say this. Randy White never came to Everson Walls and said, hey, Everson, we need you to say this for the team. I mean, you know, if amongst the
Well, that's
brothers.
a bad example. That's going to the whole other end of the spectrum, man. You think of Randy White. You know what I'm saying?
Well-
you got to pick somebody in the middle, dude. You
Okay.
know.
If something needed to be said in the locker room,
Yeah.
they went to Everson. Everson's going to speak. He's going to tell you the truth. I mean, black is black, white is white.
Right.
He's not going to beat around the bush. I mean, and that he was very outspoken, and everybody liked that about him. And if anybody had to take the fall, he wasn't going to back down from anybody.
Right. No,
I said it.
Everson, was this
Okay.
like day one you came in and control? Or did it take you years
Well,
to
I
establish
think what happened was I just came in I was in survival mode
Sure.
first, pissed off, you know, and of course survival. When I came in, whether it was training camp, I'm challenging Tony Hill the first practice. You know, he lines up and just wants to come warm up a little bit, and I'm on him like I'm Lester Hayes.
Yeah.
You know, he's like, dude, relax. I'm like, no, you know.
This
so-
is pat and go, and you're like
Yeah.
pump and run, stick them in the whole thing.
Right. So, you know, I'm working on everything. So, but that was just my attitude coming in. And then once I started playing well, you know, and the Cowboys came to me with a very deceptive contract renegotiation.
Okay.
You know, and you know, I graduated from college, and I went to good schools in Richardson. You know, Berkeley was a great program. Grambling graduates their players. I was a business major.
They teach math at both schools.
Yeah,
right here.
math
so
is
yeah.
pretty basic. Yeah, my dad was an engineer, so he knows 1, 2, 3. You know what I'm saying? So, I think the problem was that I felt so. First of all, I was still mad about being not an undrafted free agent.
What was your free agent contract? Do you remember?
Like 1 year 30, second year 32.5, next year 37 G's. I remember that.
37.
I got $1,500 signing bonus.
1,500.
100, yeah, 1,500.
So when you went to your first
That's
training
like
camp,
per diem for these guys, man.
yeah, oh, yeah, daily, right? What was your financial incentive? I mean, that was when you signed. When you're just out at Thousand Oaks as an undrafted free agent, what did you pocket money to get out there? Did they say $5,000 to come out to training camp, or
No,
was it
my
nothing?
1,500 was my signing bonus.
1,500 was your
period.
signing bonus.
That's it. That's it. You
can't even get out
what
there.
other money are you talking about? You got clause I missed? No. You got the signing bonus, and then when you start, if you make the team, you get 30 G's a year. That's it. And then, of course, we all have built-in incentives if you made the playoffs. So, you know, as much as I cry, you know, Popper about the 30 G's with the Cowboys, you're going to get, you know, playoff money if you make the team.
Absolutely.
And then didn't they also sell you on, and you're going to get all these endorsements, and they're going to pay you,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you know,
And
you're going
then,
to make
yeah,
so much more
yeah.
money just because we're allowing you to wear that
Because it's
star.
That's
But
right.
Just
isn't that-
because you're wearing that star.
Isn't there some truth to that, though?
Very little.
Very little.
Very little. Yeah, because at that time, you know, we had to make our own. We made our own way.
Yeah.
You know, that's how I became, you know, the guy that I am now, you know, the pushing myself because That's what you saw Harvey Martin doing. Harvey Martin had a radio
Real
show.
Harvey Martin show.
That's right.
Yes.
That's right.
Of course.
So
Hung out at Camp Peasy's
guys
restaurant.
like-
Beautiful Harvey Martin show.
The
Those
beautiful,
days,
thank you.
beautiful Harvey
Beautiful
Martin
Harvey
show.
Martin
Damn
show.
right.
That's
And then
right.
we'd go to Camp Peasy's restaurant and eat every day.
And see, those are the kind of things you got. It was the perks.
Yeah.
You didn't necessarily get paid appearances. Tony Roma's.
Yep.
We could eat that for free anytime.
Yes, I remember that.
Yeah, anytime. Eat
Who,
and drink.
who messed that deal up?
Probably Lockhart.
I knew you were going to say that. And
Hey, no. Wait, let me be real.
Laugh, but it's true.
No. Wait, let's stop. No. Lockhart, if you listen, forgive me. Michael Irvin, he messed that up.
Michael Irvin.
Dude, Michael Irvin would come in and shop for the whole family. And I say shop. I don't
Shop
mean
at
order.
Tony Roman?
Yes, he would come in. Michael Lockhart, if you're listening, forgive me, my brother. It was Michael Irvin because he had his whole family would come down. Remember? You know, Mike had like 17 brothers.
17 brothers and sisters. They all come in
He
to
always
eat.
bragged about. I don't know how many came to eat, but no, he
I was about to say, Tony's
when
like,
I
oh,
say
hell,
shop-
Irvin's are
When
coming
I
in.
say shop,
Yeah.
it was to go. So he left out with bags. That's why I said shop.
Yeah,
and
that ain't
so
right.
once you start doing that, it's like, okay, this is cool. Then all of a sudden it starts, Tony Romo, but they didn't necessarily care until it started affecting the bottom line.
They like him to sit there, though, and
Yeah,
shake
in-
hands.
yeah,
and just
in
go
the
And
eat.
restaurant.
I'm
Yeah.
sure he did that too now.
Yeah.
I'm sure he did that too because Mike loved
As he was
people.
leaving with 17
Right,
bags
right. I
of
can't
ribs.
sign that, kid, but I'll take a picture with you. Something like that. you
Hold
know.
these bags.
Yeah, hold these bags. Yeah, they was-
All right, let's talk about on the field. So the thing that I've covered the NFL for 20 years, and what fans talk about now, what I see now is defensive backs. You scream, turn your head and find the ball, and you had such great ball skills, just a knack for knowing when get the ball that's apex and how to outfight a guy. Why is that such a lost art? Were you just born with that, or they just don't teach it? Because you see the same thing, right?
People always ask me, and I thought about this one day. People always ask me, who was your best coach? And I could play from some great coaches, whether they were head coaches or DCs. Everybody from Nick Saban, to Eddie Robinson, and they say, who's your best coach? My best coach is my dad.
Okay.
It's just all it is to it. He was my first football coach, my first baseball coach. Back in the day, blacks loved baseball because of Jackie.
Sure.
Okay, so he's on the heels of Jackie. So everybody, man, baseball's the thing. It brings us a little pride. People can associate us with a man who's a trailblazer. So he wanted me to play baseball, and I couldn't. I always laugh. We were integrated into the Richardson SVAA.
Yep.
Yes, I
Spring
remember.
Valley
Valley Athletic Association.
Athletic
Yeah.
Association.
Absolutely.
So I'm at the Spring Valley Athletic
Yeah.
Association. It's always usually just one dude on each team, one black dude on each team. And where do they put the black dude? Come on, tell me where they put the black
Running
guy?
back.
No, baseball.
Oh, baseball. Center field.
Center field.
Yeah.
Everybody wants
Willie
to be Willie
Mays.
Mays. That's
Absolutely.
right. So any black dude you get on the team, I don't care how goofy he is, they're gonna put him out in center field first and see how it works out.
Because he's fast.
Because he got to be fast. Because
Of
he's
course,
black,
yeah.
right? And he must know Willie, I'm sure, as well. And so,
Related to him
yeah, I
somehow.
got to know him some kind of way. So I go out in center field, and I can't even judge the ball in the air. It's just
Right.
I was horrible. It was bouncing all over the place. And it took too much concentration, and it would take away from my speed that I would use. It just distracted me in every way. And I told Dad, I said, Dad, I can't judge the ball in the air. I said, it's dancing on me. That's the word I use. I'll never forget this conversation. And he just said so quickly and easily and uneffortlessly, just run on your toes, son. And I said, okay. It didn't. I'll try it, But I love my dad so much, trusting him. He never lied to me, and I started running on my toes, and that ball was it's like a spiral of a football coming. I could judge it so easily. I could see the threads on the ball.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, I am freaking Willie Mays. I'm back there. I'm out there catching everything.
Changed everything.
It changed everything for me. Now I can play basketball better. Highest point.
Yeah.
Rebounds. That's what we worked on all the time. We had the same type coaches in Richardson.
Mm-hmm.
We do the tip drill and the highest point, and I was always very coachable because of my dad. And if it's not for him telling me that and allowing me to, then all of a sudden I'm playing wide receiver. I want to be Drew Pearson. You want to be these guys. It all, it was the origin of my ability to do what I do.
Yeah.
And that allows all of your other instincts to improve.
Right.
You understand?
It's
because
just
now
crazy.
I'm feeling comfortable.
Yeah.
That's past me. I can catch the ball.
Yeah.
I can cover. Now I got to worry about keeping up. I got to worry about boxing out and things of that nature. So if it's not for my dad telling me that, I have no idea.
It just seems such a simple fix, but you see, I mean, the Cowboys have drafted and cut multiple cornerbacks who have God-given.
My boy from LSU.
God-given, Mo Claiborne.
Yeah, Mo Claiborne.
Perfect example.
Yeah.
Great athlete.
Yep.
Fast,
Yep.
athletic, agility, zero ball skills. And you would say, just run on your toes. But helped him a lot.
Brad Sham said this about 5 years ago, watching me play my whole career. And he said he knew I was going to get an interception by the way I started running. And I mean, that, to me, that just lets you know how much Brad knows about football.
Oh, yeah.
No one ever noticed that. My gait changed because of what my dad told me.
It's amazing.
I run differently when I'm trying to race somebody. When that ball's in the air, your gait has to change because you have to be able to judge it.
Why don't you coach?
Everybody tells me that.
Well,
Everybody asks you that.
and-
I just can't get along with people like that.
You know that's
Man, I
not
think
right.
that's what it is.
That's an understatement.
You know that's
Terry.
all right.
Paco gets it. He's seen me around people.
Oh, yeah.
But next up, let's talk about somebody you couldn't get along with. It's Everson Walls and Jimmy Johnson.
Oh, yeah.
Tales from Paco's locker room talk next.
Paco started this crap. Look at this.
This is Jesse A. Montoya, raised on the streets of West Dallas. Started boxing in the late 1950s, making a promise to his mother that he would move her out of the poverty-stricken area. As a kid, Jesse would be one of the first in the state of Texas to compete against other African American kids during the lift of segregation and the beginning of the civil rights movement. 60 years have passed and Jesse continues to be a part of the sport. His passion for boxing has allowed him to serve as a trainer, a coach, a mentor, and a community leader, working with both amateur and professional fighters. Jesse has literally mentored generations of young fighters since the 1970s. He is recognized as one of the first Hispanic coaches in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, while pioneering the first inner-city amateur boxing program that has awarded him and the boxing gym that carries his namesake with numerous team trophies. Throughout the years, Jesse and his staff that includes his sons Anthony and Michael have trained many successful boxers, a program acknowledged by USA Boxing. This is Jesse A. Montoya of Montoya Boxing, a pillar of amateur boxing in Dallas-Fort Worth.
Everson Walls, that makes you want to put on the gloves, doesn't it? Go a couple
Boxing
rounds.
workout's great, man. I was saying, but I bet your dad can whip your ass, bro, to this day, man.
Dad's going to whoop your ass for wearing that hat today. I'll tell you that much right now.
I'm proud of this hat today,
I
man.
know you are. It's Paco's
Troy
locker room talk.
Aikman, where are you?
Anthony, Paco, Montoya, Everson Walls, Richie Witt here, just kicking it old school. So you play for the Cowboys, lead the league in interceptions, playing a couple of NFC championship games. I won't mention what happened out in Candlestick Park. This is a family show, and I want to get
People
all
always
mad.
say they don't mention it while mentioning it.
That's passive aggressive,
I get
me
that a
not
lot.
mentioning it.
I get that a lot. That's crazy.
All right, good. So Jimmy Johnson comes to town. And did you guys not hit it off? Was it something personal, or was it just him trying to put his stamp on the team by treating the veterans a certain way?
Well, in the beginning, no, we hit it off great.
You did?
Yeah, he appointed me. Out of all the coaches I've had, and just to let you know what really a late bloomer I was never a captain of a team. Only played 1 year high school football, so no captain. You had guys that deserved,
Sure.
that played years that deserved to be captain. Coach Robinson never had me as a captain because you had guys that, once again, multiple starters. I didn't start until my senior year. And the Cowboys, that wasn't happening.
Full of captains already.
Yeah, I had a lot of captains.
Well, Tom might have made you a captain if you just hadn't talked so much.
Oh, is that what it
Yeah,
is?
that's what
Talk
it
too
was.
much.
But
Yeah.
anyway.
Well, I thought captains were supposed to lead. I mean, you know.
Yeah, but only when they tell you to say. You know what I'm saying?
Tom did view you as outspoken, to say the least.
well,
right?
I think my entire way I played was so unorthodox that he just kind of left me to my own devices. So he let me play. Yeah, he's
How
like,
great is that?
It's working. It's working for you. It's not how I would do it, but it's working for you. And,
That's what made him a great coach, though.
Well, in that regard, that's very true. He's not going to be your friend,
Yep.
but he's going to respect you, and it's what he doesn't do to you
Yeah.
that lets you know how well he feels about you.
Yeah.
By leaving you alone, I think that was the ultimate respect.
Yeah.
He came into a meeting one time, and I took this as an insult for decades. He comes into a rookie meeting. I'm already a 5-year veteran. Comes into a rookie meeting. Defensive backs. They're about to start the film. He turns on the light. He goes, "Hey, guys, I want to tell you guys one thing. As you look at this film, don't try to be like Everson Walls. It's a quick ticket out of here."
Wow.
A rookie told us that.
Wow.
A rookie told us that. And I was like, how dare he? You know, at first, like, I'm your guy.
Yeah.
You know, I'm that guy. Well, how could you? And then
Now you get it.
because it's like, okay, that's not going to work for you. It works for him.
Right.
It's not going to work for you.
It's hard to teach
Right,
what you do.
Right.
And I never looked at it like that.
How long did it take you to realize that?
Man, about 20 years.
20 years.
No doubt,
Because
dude.
now you see it as
Yeah.
like an ultimate compliment.
Yeah, exactly.
He's like so advanced that we don't even try to teach what he's doing.
Oh, it's just so unorthodox.
Or unorthodox.
Yeah,
But-
and I like your word.
Yeah.
But, you know, I like devil's advocate. But
Well,
no,
Yeah, his is in the English dictionary. Yours is in the Ebonics dictionary.
right,
So
right. We need
you
to
have a-
minimize the
yeah,
Ebonics
yeah.
on this show.
And I'm there
okay.
with you, bro.
Right,
on
you
that
see,
one.
I
Yeah.
know we got
Yeah,
it.
oh,
Right,
yeah.
no
All
doubt.
right, so let's talk about we'll get to Jimmy in a minute, but
Jimmy,
let's
yeah.
go back to Tom Landry because I, as a kid growing up in Dallas, loved the Tom Landry show on Sundays.
Mm-hmm.
It was must see TV. But was he half as annoying in the film room with that stupid coach's clicker as he was on TV?
Oh, he was, man.
You'd watch a 30-minute Tom Landry show and he would show you one play and he would reverse it and you're just like,
and you know, he
you
was
trying to park a car in a spot that wouldn't fit. You're like, get to it, Tom. I love
trying
you.
that 3-point.
Yes. Was he like that in the film room?
No, got it. No, got it. No.
Is that what he was like in the film room?
It was.
Oh my God.
And you know, if you messed up, if it was like, "Hey, Everson, what are you doing here?" And then he shows you in your most humiliating moment.
Yeah.
And they're going back and forth. And for those teammates, you know, that are awake in the
Yeah.
room.
They're just like, thank God it's Everson's day, not mine.
Everson's turn today, guys.
Time to prepare.
So we all had our days.
All right, it's good to know. All right, let's talk about you and Jimmy. So you and Jimmy hit it off. He made you a captain
I was a
initially.
captain, sure was, and I was very proud. And I was that guy that spoke up, had the optimistic tone, especially preseason. It was easy. I think we were 3-1 preseason.
Beat the Oilers on a last-second field goal. Jimmy and Jerry ran off the field hand in hand like
Is
they
that
won the
crazy?
Super Bowl.
Is
We
that
were like,
crazy?
oh dear.
Hey,
This
what
is
about,
gonna
what
be-
about San Diego, man? We go down there. If I recall, I think I scored on a touchdown for like 72 yards or something. crap.
Preseason game?
Yeah, preseason.
Okay.
And we were like, it was like everything was just so amazing. It's like, wow, everything's going our way.
But you
This is
knew
gonna be-
that preseason.
No,
what it
we
meant.
didn't.
You thought it. You were.
we felt we were in.
Come on.
We
Or did Jimmy make you play
no,
like
no.
like
The
they were ready?
plays were working. Everything was working. So how else would we feel? I mean, that's like this preseason. You're optimistic about it. You know, you're not going to be pessimistic when everything is working. You're 3-1. I think we lost to the Broncos in Mile High. That was it. And how could you not feel good about
Because
it?
you'd played, speaking of devil's advocate, allow me, you'd played on teams that were inches away from the Super Bowl multiple times. And then you're on this team in 89, and you thought, yeah, I can kind of see how we're on the same level.
I thought that with the veterans that we still had, and we still had some, they were
Yeah,
getting older.
you did.
But I thought with the veterans and maybe the depth that we had behind that, I just assumed that, hey, come on, man, I couldn't see 1 in freaking 15.
I didn't think you saw
Come
1 in
on,
15,
man.
but
So
now we
you
know why
gotta-
you're not coaching.
Yeah,
This
yeah.
explains it all, right? Talent
See,
evaluation.
there you
is
go.
the
Too
trouble.
freaking optimistic. That's my problem.
Yeah.
I believe everybody believes like me. No, but that's not the case. See,
All right, so Paco, you were in that locker room in '89. Was there genuine, like, Jimmy and Jerry are going to change this thing? We're going to go to the playoffs and beyond, or were they realistic players, unlike Everson?
The only thing I remember about '89 is when we went on a hoopster trip, and of course these guys are like, we pull up to this club and there's a line that goes. I'm going back to hoopsters, but it's a true story. There's a line that goes around the building and all the way to the back, and it's got this huge parking lot. I don't remember where we're at, and they're like, "All right, Paco, get out and do your thing, man. We got to get in there." So I get out, and I was like, "Hey, we're in town. Dallas Cowboys are here in town." He says, "Yeah, I heard you guys are playing. Yeah, we just finished up the game, and we see this long line here. We wonder if maybe you guys could, help us out and get us in." He says, "Oh yeah, man, no problem." I said, "Well, where do we park?" He says, "Oh, there's plenty of parking here." And he says, first of all, first thing you all need to do is go ahead and park the van. There's some spots probably in that second parking lot across the street. And then you can come and you see that line all the way down the end of the building? Park where you can start right there and stand in line, and you should be able to get in before we
With
close.
everybody else. Yeah.
Yes, that's what I remember about '89 because we were garbage.
Yeah, because we had just come off of 2-14. So that was
3-13.
Was three,
Tom's
thank
last
you,
year.
Thank you.
Yeah.
3-13. I always get that wrong. 3-13. You're right. That was Tom's
So
last year. And so
nobody respected him.
We even before Tom's last year. It
was downhill.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
downhill.
Yeah.
They were buying up the extra tickets. You remember what car dealership was that? Kept buying.
I
They
do.
always
I
bought
remember.
the
Yeah.
remaining
Wasn't
tickets.
So it could be on TV locally.
Wasn't it
Bankston.
W.O. Bankston?
Bankston,
W.O.
you're right.
Yeah.
635 in the tollway.
Yep.
They would always buy up the remaining tickets, so it wouldn't.
That's
be
why they're not
blacked
in
out.
business anymore. They've had to buy a lot
Yeah, I
of
know.
tickets.
Cowboys. Jerry comes in like, "Who are you?"
Yeah.
W.O. Bankston, if you remember, was also the guy that hooked up all the SMU players.
He was one of their donors. Yeah,
He was-
absolutely.
And
The
that's
SMU.
cool. I mean, because you want a guy like that.
Oh yeah, no, I agree.
I love that. I mean, but when
Did you ever get a car from college?
what
Bicycle?
at Grambling?
Bicycle?
He's
I
already
saw my
talked
own
about the
car.
moral
I saw my
standards.
hand-me-down. I drove my hand-me-down.
Okay.
Yes,
Just
yeah.
asking,
I had
dog.
my sister's car, man. I love my car.
Just asking. I'm getting a little way.
No, that's okay. But no,
No, that's
in
all right.
regards to Jimmy, though, for real,
Yes.
everything was fine until we started losing. And the one game that really did it was, I had some offensive linemen, man. They were all big. They were going to the big offensive linemen when Jimmy came.
Yeah.
At first, they were nimble guys like Rafferty and Cooper,
Yep.
Herb
Fitzgerald.
Scott. Yeah, Fitz came even before Rafferty. And these guys, they were nimble. So we weren't that power team. All of a sudden, here comes Kevin Gogan. Here comes Crawford Kerr. Here comes Nate Newton.
Yep.
And these guys are like the Hogs with the Redskins.
Yeah.
Zone
That was
blocking.
in-
Everything changed. Zone blocking was the thing.
Redskins go to the Super Bowl. Right? It's
Everybody
it's
wants
a
to
league.
copy that. The,
Absolute
the
copycat
Rams
league.
as well now.
Yes.
The Rams had it with Eric Dickerson because oh my God, I don't even want to see him anymore. So when you start thinking about that transition, then now you have to think about conditioning. So these guys, we want to be in shape.
Sure.
Then we're going to be running, and they start complaining. The offensive linemen were complaining about conditioning was too much, Jimmy. You're coming in with this college workout.
Jimmy put him over on the asthma field. We
Oh,
saw
man.
that.
See, that was the attitude Jimmy had, and they're like, "Hey, we don't have asthma, but we're overweight." So, you're out there in that heat, and so I'm the captain. They know I'm going to say something, but I'm saying this as a captain. I'm not coming, "Hey, Jimmy." I didn't come in there like I'm JJ from Good Times or anything.
You're
I went in
representing the
there
voice of the
representing
people.
the guys. I'm talking
Majority of the team.
and trying to, here we are. This is the captain talking to a coach. So, we got to be on the same page. So that's the way that meeting went. I was like, "Coach, these guys, man, they're complaining." I said, "Look, DBs, linebackers, we can run all day.
Yep.
But these linemen, you got this. We're trying to get this running game going. They said they got nothing left for the game because you're running them too much during the week." He goes, "Okay." He was very receptive. I'm like, "Wow, this captain thing is going to be really cool."
Oh boy!
So
I feel a sharp U-turn approaching.
this is what I always wanted. To be, half company man, half brother man. You know what I'm saying? And so I go to the players and let them know what's going on. They're like, "Man, pat me on the back. Everything's so great." And so we play the Giants that coming week.
Yep.
Here we are, 0-2 at the time, I think. So we're going. New York's coming to town.
Okay.
So we're at home. Okay, this is our stadium.
Yeah.
This is a chance for us to really show what we can do because we had already lost to the Saints in the Dome. Now here we are home. Let's see what we can do. And with the support and everything, maybe we could show, this how Jimmy's system is going to come together. It was horrible. we didn't. I think we may have scored 3 points.
Yeah.
We may have scored 3 points. After the game, Lawrence Taylor said that their system was so simple that it's like alphabets or some crap like that.
Vanilla.
He said he thought it was trick plays. They were so simple. He was waiting on trick plays.
That's got to stink.
Now that was what your offensive coordinator Shula's son.
Mike Shula.
That was,
Dave Shula.
Dave. That was
right.
Dave was the OC. He was
not for long, but he was. Yeah.
Yeah. So, after the game, before we can get into all that, after the game, in the locker room, he's pissed. I think we end up defense played well. I think it scored like 19-3. It wasn't. Yeah. We were holding on defensively, and he comes into the game, into the locker room, and he said, "Well, guys, it was a very disappointing loss, and I'm just going to tell you something." And I'm standing over here. He's talking to the team over there. I'm standing right here. He says, and I'm like over. He goes, "Regardless of what some people think, I'm going to be running y'all's asses off for the rest of the season." And the offensive linemen, they're like, "Oh, okay." So they turn their back on me.
Yeah.
I'm standing by myself. I'm standing alone as if we lost the game because it's my fault that I informed him.
Now you got to
because his soft offensive linemen don't want to, they not only do we lighten up on the running, you still got your butts whipped.
Right.
Now, granted, a Giants defense, which is the
Pretty
number
good
one
back then.
defense in the NFL.
Yeah.
But still, it wasn't just that they beat us. We looked offensively, and especially the offensive line, totally incompetent.
Hapless. Like
Totally
you could have played 9 quarters, it wouldn't
have mattered. It would have got
played
worse.
them later in the year in New York, and it was 15-0, and you had a first and goal on the 1, and ran 4 plays and didn't even come close to scoring.
And
just
see,
a mismatch.
And that's just the way. So that was my captain days, and of course, I don't know if y'all want to get into it, but the nail in the coffin was the Cardinals game.
Yeah. At St. Louis.
Up in Phoenix. No,
Phoenix?
That's when they were the Phoenix Cardinals.
They were.
Okay.
Yeah, before they became Arizona. So we went from St. Louis to Phoenix. And I think we played in Tempe Stadium.
Okay.
And we're finally going to win a game we're finally going to win 2 games because we beat Washington.
That's right.
Yeah, and beat Doug Williams. They were like.
That's right, yeah.
They were 2 years from winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
And so Doug's coming off of a bad back. He wasn't ready. We beat him, which is great. And so here we are. We're on the road. Jimmy,
winning streak.
As a coach, that's your credibility now. Okay, we won one. We're gonna win another. So here we are in Phoenix. We got him. We got him by two touchdowns, and we knock Jake
Plummer
out.
Plummer.
Yeah.
Knock him out. Here comes Tom Tupa, backup quarterback and starting punter.
Yep.
Right. He comes in, targets my side of the field twice.
Yeah.
Ernie Jones, I believe, was the wide receiver's name.
Okay.
And we play cover 2. That's our safe coverage.
Sure.
And the way we taught cover 2 was, cornerbacks, you settle. You settle at 15, but you never get on top of the guy. You're going to be under the guy at 15 or whatever. So if you're under, you got to have somebody over.
Of course.
And so
Safety.
The Cardinals, smart. They go four streaks. You go 4 nines. You go 4 nines up the field, and the safety's got to make a decision.
Yep.
If you don't touch those guys, you got to make a decision.
If you can block it up front, that's the play that beats cover 2.
Yeah, but that ain't happening.
Right.
So not with that line that we had at the time. And so here we are. The safety's trying to get back. I'm sure he got pumped off or whatever. They hit my man on the sideline, like 60 yards or something. Okay, boom. We still up by a touchdown. We got it, guys. We're going to win this game. That was okay.
Right.
No problem. Hey, what y'all doing? Well, coach, I dropped my 15. Safety didn't get over top. All right, I got you. Boom. We'll go try it again. They come out. We go 3 and out. They come out, do the same thing. We lose the game. This time it was 2-man. So 2-man, you're still under.
Yep.
Safety still got to get over the top.
Yeah.
Your technique is you got to be under. Because I got under, you got over. That's just the way it's taught. Dave Wannstedt will tell you 365 days a year. So game's over. I'm like, feeling sorry for my safety.
Yeah.
Because they're going to roast him.
Who was your safety, remember?
Vince Albritton. My
Mortician.
boy. They call him Mortician because
Mortician.
when he hit you, he going to kill you.
Yeah.
Because he was,
Oh, man.
He was the most buff guy. They call him Buff One. Yeah, he was just.
Number 36.
Oh, man, he was amazing.
Absolutely.
He was amazing. And he was a good player. You're handcuffed by the system. It's not his fault.
Right.
You can't tell her the way the Giants played it was the correct way. The way that was taught.
Yeah.
That's not for the pros. That might have worked in college, Coach Wannstedt.
Gotcha.
But that's not going to work in the pros the way you taught that. And so we were beaten by the weakness of the system, basically. Talking to Roy Green, my nemesis, been knowing each other
Great receiver.
since 81.
Yeah.
And he wasn't playing much, and we're just talking. He goes, "Hey, man, somebody's talking to you." He said, "I think he's talking to you." I turn around, and Jimmy tells me to get my ass in the locker room.
He came out of the locker room.
No, he was going to the locker room, and he stopped by the goalpost because he saw me and Roy talking. He's thinking, this guy just lost the game, and he's out here talking trash with people.
Fraternizing with
Fraternizing.
Yeah.
I had never heard that word used on the football field ever in my life.
Yeah.
And so he's standing there with the 2 state troopers, because that's always
that's
his
his
mouth.
escort,
So, and I just remember that image of him yelling at me, and then the 2 state troopers are like, what the hell going on? They're grabbing their guns. Like, oh, what's happening? So, and I'm
like in the longest yard. We said, shoot,
right,
shoot.
right. So I like, what'd you say? He said, get your ass in the locker room. You out here fraternizing, and we just got an ass kicked. And he takes off, and I take off after him. And that was it. The state troopers, I don't know what happened to them. They disappeared. And so he and I just cursing each other out. And
On the way to the locker room.
Everybody's heard this story. Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
And I tell people all the time, Temple Stadium had the longest freaking corridor from field to locker room ever.
Yeah, long
we
walk.
we had to catch our breath from cussing each other out. We were and the irony of it I thought was so funny. He's fussing at me about talking to the fraternizing. The only thing that separated us as we're going down the corridor was Eugene Lockhart and Errol Farrell, who's a running back for the Cardinals. They're hugged up.
Oh,
Walking
no.
down, and we don't. I saw that, but Jimmy, we're so busy. That separated us, and we came back together to ensue cussing each other out.
Yeah, went around the.
We went around. That to me is just the total irony there.
Yeah, absolutely. So he was just making you a scapegoat.
Yeah,
He wanted to make an example out of it.
No, he did, and he. I guess I disappointed him so much as a captain because I don't know. I guess I wasn't company man enough for him.
Yeah.
And he ended up. I knew that night. I told my wife. I said, I think this is
Gone.
I think I'm out of here. I thought I'd be out here the next day.
Yeah.
I thought I'd be gone, and so I told them to prepare for that, and we were ready for that, but it didn't happen then. But
Next year in '90, I'm going to forgive you. You went to the New York Giants.
I had to.
and won a Super Bowl.
Along with
Yeah.
Steve Diassi.
Well, Diassi went the year before.
Oh, okay.
Diassi left after Tom Landry's last year.
Okay.
And just add a little note, hilarious. Tony Roma's, free food, free drinks every Monday.
Yeah.
I had a TV show with all people, Galloway.
Randy Galloway.
Randy Galloway.
Absolutely. You
Yeah.
him.
So, oh my God, it's Randy now.
Oh, yeah.
Randy, that wasn't Jimmy's favorite at all.
No.
And me and Randy got along so well.
Oh, yeah.
We were so different, his accent and me. And we had a show coming up. Mike Downs comes into Tony Roma's.
Yep.
Yeah, and we're gonna feed Mike. He had cut Mike, the year before.
He went to the Cardinals.
He went to the Cardinals, and they cut him too. So he came back, and he's like, "Hey man, I just want y'all to know, Walls, Jimmy is killing you on the radio right now. He's blaming the entire game on you on his show." And I'm like, "Really? Is that right?" Sorry, brother. So, I'm like, okay, my show's coming up at 6. Mike came to see me about 5:30. And man, I don't know if you could tell on the air, but I was feeling pretty aggressive.
Yeah.
And, he goes off on me. I went off on him. And I just told the truth, just like I said it here.
Right.
The defense, it was what it was. We had a horrible offensive coordinator. And our system was not ready for the pros. And that's just what it is.
Right.
You don't like it, change it. If you want to change me, fine. You're still going to have the same problem.
Yours wasn't personal. Yours was more schematic. Like this, we were running college schemes trying to win NFL games. Doesn't matter who's coaching.
I don't know what else you want me to do.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to sit up here and throw my teammates under the bus and say they're playing bad because they're not good.
Yeah.
We're all in here making mistakes. Let's all remedy the mistakes.
Yeah.
And so he didn't want to hear that. He called me and put me on the bench that next game. I never started another game, and thank God he didn't hold on to me for a long time, because once the season was over, he's like, dude, you out of here.
Yeah.
I'm like, thank you. And that gave me a chance to go to New York. That gave me a chance to get in there early. That gave me a chance to get in there off-season program, meet Bill Belichick, get along with my teammates, fight for that job that I knew I was going to take. You know, when I went to Parcells, I'm going to help you win the Super Bowl. With this defense, I'm getting some picks, Coach.
So was it like night and day, the defensive systems?
It was. Yeah. Now, as far as flex, it wasn't, because the flex was when my boys were working. Right. When he let them go, when he let them off that leash, then Randy, Ed, Harvey, nothing was better. Right. But I was rejuvenated because of those guys. Right. Because of LT, because of that system, because of Leonard Marshall and those guys.
So I'm glad you didn't wear your Super Bowl.
I never wear it in Texas. Good. Never in Texas.
Is that for real?
That's for real. I never wear it to any Cowboy events.
I respect you for that.
I never wear it to any Cowboy events, any Cowboy-sponsored events.
Good for you. All right, Everson, you're not so bad after all. All right, next up, Cowboys play the Giants Sunday. We'll get some thoughts on this team and maybe get some predictions from Everson Walls here on Paco's Locker Room Talk.
The Cowboy House. That's where you need to go to get your memorabilia. They have all kinds of memorabilia. Now, this is a guy, Walls, that bought all the seats in Texas Stadium and bought the turf.
What do you mean?
He bought everything that was in Texas Stadium.
Wow.
He bought every seat, and he's down to.
So how did I get all these guys coming to me with all these seats and stuff?
He sells it to them. They go, like pancakes. I mean,
wow.
This guy sells tons and tons of it. I mean, you just wouldn't believe. Look at that.
That looks nice.
Yeah, I mean, he's got all Cowboy memorabilia. He's got current helmets, or guys just got cut. Socks, shoes. He's got everything. I
have a few of those. I could sign them and send them back to him.
Yeah. I don't know. You know, I was even thinking, I need to talk to this guy about maybe putting on a boxing exhibition, Everson Walls versus Jimmy Johnson. Because y'all's hair is the same color.
And I must admit, extremely dapper dressers. If anything, Jimmy is the sharpest dresser.
He is a good
dresser. I think I've ever seen on TV. I love it.
All right, what's the website to this place, Paco?
www.thecowboyhouse.com. You need to go there. You can order championship rings, college. Walls, did Grambling ever win anything?
Black college stuff.
Black college.
Yeah,
okay.
I don't know. He don't have that on.
Okay, no,
that'd be impressive if he had that.
Yeah,
right. That'd be really something.
Real fun.
Let me say this real quick about
Absolutely.
Everson.
Do it.
The one thing that I've always loved about Everson, I swear, as God is my witness, he has always been black. He stayed black.
I always did.
And proud of it.
Yes, I'm proud of it.
I didn't bleach.
Yes, I've been through a lot of guys, teams, and.
You're only like half kidding. Like some guys they shy away from it.
Oh yeah, there's some
my
guys
thing is this, and we have a little fun with it, but everybody, I don't see color. I think that's the craziest thing, and I kind of know what they mean. They mean I don't judge you by your color.
I don't treat you differently because of color.
But it just sounds so, because people take that literally.
Yeah,
and I think the thing is, we should celebrate all of our differences.
Amen.
Man, I love what I go to. I'm in New York all the time, and I love their style. I love the East Coast style. Yep. You got the Italian style. I love that. I'm not gonna dog that. Now if you got something funny about it, with black folks, they always talking about watermelon chicken, all that.
Oh yeah.
With Italians, they got all this, this kind of food and the names that they give it and all of that.
Meatballs.
But it's fun, and so it's not a detriment to anyone. That is your heritage. Be proud of that. And if somebody makes fun of it, then they don't know what the hell they're talking about. You know what I'm saying? So I'm
into that.
You can't be ashamed of anything you're about. White people can't dance. That kind of stuff.
Can't play basketball.
Can you dance? Can you dance?
That little bit. I could back in the day.
You probably could dance better.
Only when you
see. I'm against the stereotype. I can't dance.
Back when the Cowboys won Super Bowls, I could dance. So it's been a minute.
When you say dancing, what's your what you mean?
I didn't have a dance. No, okay. I didn't have like.
Okay. I got a feeling.
I didn't do like a moonwalk.
I got a feeling when you say dance.
I just kind of moved to the beat.
Yeah, that's not dancing.
Beat optional.
That's not dancing.
That was my kind of dancing.
Okay, there you go.
All right, Cowboys Giants coming up on Sunday. You follow this team. You've seen Zeke is now there. I mean, again, off seasons are different than your day, but can he contribute coming from Cabo on a Tuesday, on Wednesday, and showing up on Sunday? What are we looking for from him?
Well, you got to take his word for it that he stayed in shape.
Yep, we'll see.
Yeah, you got to take his word for it. Sometimes you can tell in Zeke's uniform if he's been in shape or not. That gut might stick out just a little bit
Yeah,
more.
with his little half shirt.
Yeah, a little half shirt going on. It looks real cute. So I would hope so. But the only person I've ever seen that was able to do that, and there are probably more, was LT the year I went there. Missed all the training camp, held out. I don't know what kind of workout he was doing. When he came back, first night, Sunday night game against Philly, he came out with 3 sacks against Randall Cunningham.
He's just a freak, though.
And see, so is Zeke. So I'm hoping that Zeke can do that. Odds are he can't. I mean, he won't be, just because he won't be amazing doesn't mean he can't be instrumental.
Right.
But no matter how many years I played, I always like to get into my flow. I held out all the training camp once.
You and Tex had a nice little battle one
sure
year.
did.
Yeah.
And it was 86.
Yep.
And that was part of that whole negotiation thing I was talking about. It took a couple of years. I had to hold out for that, missed all the training camp. And I came back, I played well, but not as well as I could have played. I know I wasn't in my comfort zone like I was later in the season. That's the truth that I can tell.
Yeah.
And I got to believe that when he puts on that uniform, it's going to feel a little foreign to him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't care how good you are.
Can't replicate what he's going to go through on Sunday on the beach in Cabo.
Exactly.
Sorry.
The timing, the blocking, you got that amazing offensive line. He should have an adjusting period. I just hope it doesn't take too long, because whatever period it takes, I hope it doesn't take away from our wins and any momentum that we might be able to get going forward to what we're looking for to be a great year.
Yeah.
We're really looking for at least NFC Championship.
Should.
I mean,
Jason Garrett coaching for his job. It's got to be NFC Championship game at least to get
and
to it.
or either you got screwed in the game before that. It better be some.
No more
It better
you
be
got
some
screwed.
Saints.
No
It better
more
be
you
some
got screwed.
Saints.
We're tired of that.
No Saints controversy.
No Dez
call.
dropped it, caught it. None of that.
Yeah,
We're tired of excuses, right?
I mean, I think
Go ahead, Paco.
I'm with you, Richie. I mean, it's either NFC Championship or bust. I mean, there's.
Totally with you.
I mean, I hate to say that about Jason, but I mean, God, you've given
He's
him
had
so
9
many
years.
Yeah.
There's 4 coaches in the NFL that have more seniority than him. They all have at least 1 Super Bowl, and they add up to 9. And he hadn't even been in an NFC Championship game. He's had more than enough rope.
Yeah.
So that's Jason Garrett. But you know what? We'll revisit the Cowboys, how they did against the Giants next week. We got any more guests lined up coming up?
Next week we got a couple Super Bowl linebackers, Reggie Barnes and Dixon Edwards.
Let's get our A-list in here. Let's get our A-list. Let's get Dixon in here.
We're going to get those guys out here, talk a little bit of Super Bowl.
You can talk to Dix about conspiracy theories, man. He's not much of a football guy.
Yeah,
Really?
That's right.
He does not follow football much at all.
Isn't that weird how some guys it's their life and some guys it was just like a
love
hobby?
it, though. He's a different guy.
Yeah.
Lozel Adams, same thing. He just does not follow football.
Hotel.
I don't
Now-
understand that. How do you do something that
You're really good at something that you don't love.
Yeah.
That's
A lot of
kinda
people
strange.
like that guy.
Yeah.
Believe it or not.
All right, Everson, should he wear that hat next week?
No, he should not.
All right, there's Everson Walls. It's Anthony Montoya. It's Richie Witt. Thanks for watching Paco's Locker Room Talk.
Paco.